2022 City Council meeting for the City of Lamar. I'm Mayor Kirk Crespin. Right before this meeting, we had a great work session where we had Ronnie Farmer come in and do advise the council of this past year's financial audit and the results of that. We had a wonderful audit. It went well. As always, Kristen has always done a great job as our city treasurer, and I commend her on that work. So thank you very much for a great audit and for all the work you do throughout the year. We've had a lot of weather over the last few days. I love having the rain, but it's done a lot of damage as well. I know May Valley was hit pretty hard last night, but throughout the city, as I woke up this morning, you can see all the tree limbs and branches that were falling over. But I was also very impressed to see our city crews out there bright and early, 6:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, working away, already trying to get those cleared out. So thank you to our crews. Again, if you do have limbs or tree branches in your yard that you can't haul away, you can pull them out to your street curb, and the city crews will go out and start looking for that over the next few days, and we'll get those cleared up for you. Aside from that, let's see, was there anything else? Oh, we had a nice treat tonight. The Life Center Church gave us a thank you card for all that we do here at the council and the work we do, and they also brought us cookies. So I want to also send a little thank you out to the kids at the Life Center Church for bringing us in cookies. That was very great. We're very grateful for that. All right, we have Jeff Alexander who will do our identification tonight. Jeff, you got a microphone there?
Our Father, we want to thank you for the opportunity to gather again this evening to do the business of the city. I pray for, Father, for wisdom and direction and understanding about our needs and the way to proceed to meet those needs. I thank you for the people who run our city and ask for mercy and grace upon them as they conduct the business, for those who work in our city. And we are very grateful for the men who devote their time and the women who devote their time to keeping our city up and looking good and functioning in the way that it should. We thank you for our police department, our fire department, all of these. We want to give you also thanks for the rain that we've had here recently. Lord, even in spite of the damage, the rain is more than welcome, and we just thank you for it. And we pray your blessing upon this meeting tonight. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Mike, would you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the time is now 7:03 p.m. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Joe Gonzalez.
Here.
Mike Bellamy.
Here.
Jerry Jenkins. Here. Kirk Crespin.
Here.
Oscar Riley.
Here.
Manuel Temez.
Here.
Anne Marie Crampton. Here. Rob Evans.
Here.
Kristen Swartz. Here. Lance Clark.
Here.
Okay, we've all had an opportunity to review the consent agenda. Were there any subtractions or changes we needed to consider?
Yeah, I got a question for Linda. What's Snowball Express getting?
What was your
Snowball
question?
Express?
We pay them for the dipping dots at the swimming pool.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
Make a motion to accept the, whatever it is.
Consent agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any final questions?
You're going to have to vote manually, or verbally.
Okay, so on this one, we'll just vote verbally. No final questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Next item on the agenda is the audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not appear on the agenda. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each, and that is at the discretion of the council. Is there anybody here that would like to speak to the council on one of those items? Then we just need you to state your name and your address.
I've got some packets I'd like to hand out real quick.
Okay.
Thank you.
But yeah, I handed 2 out. All right, hello, council. Thanks for having us tonight. My name is Brent Bates of 7 Paseo Place here in Lamar, Colorado.
And I'm James Klein of 222 South Main here in Lamar.
In late May, James and I hired an election attorney to help us form and submit an initiative petition and ordinance to allow regulated retail and medical marijuana businesses to operate in Lamar city limits. On June 15th, we submitted a printer's proof of our petition and ordinance, and on June 22nd, we received notice from the city clerk that it was rejected. Please see the first letter of rejection that we have supplied you. That rejection was based on errors in petition form, as well as our supplemental ordinance being not only legislative in nature, but also administrative. According to the rejection letter, and I quote, "The initiative process is limited to the legislative and cannot dictate the process by which an initiated subject will be implemented should it pass. The ordinance should only address the legislative, i.e. shall the city's code be amended to add a section to allow the sale of retail and/or medical marijuana dispensaries within the city limits of Lamar." Upon receipt of this rejection, we worked with our attorney once again to correct the petition form errors. On June 23rd, our attorney was able to have a conversation with City Attorney Lance Clark to discuss the administrative nature of our ordinance. From there, James and I worked again with our attorney to edit the ordinance in accordance with this conversation. On June 23rd, James and I resubmitted our edited petition and ordinance, and on June 30th, we again received notification from the city clerk that it was rejected. Please see the second rejection letter we have also supplied. This rejection was based on 2 things: a simple numbering error on the ordinance, and the ordinance being administrative as well as legislative once again. On July 7th, our attorney responded to the second rejection letter with a request of the city attorney and city clerk by email to clarify what rule or statute was used to determine what was considered administrative versus legislative. Our reasoning for this was so that in the future, we can better draft our documents for petition approval. As of today, July 25th, neither James, myself, nor our attorney have received correspondence back from the city attorney or city clerk in regards to that request. This leads us to why we are standing in front of you today. James, myself, and our attorney do not feel that our time and effort are being respected by the city. Our attorney has worked successfully with several small municipalities in the state of Colorado to pass marijuana legislation that not only adheres to Amendment 64 of the Colorado Constitution, but all statutes, rules, and codes necessary. We are asking you to work with us so as to ensure that the petition form and ordinance are following all codes of law that are currently in place. At this time, we have some questions needing answered. These questions should be simple to answer and do not constitute legal advice, but represent the initiative petitioning process, as well as the city government's responsibility to uphold that process. 1, what rule, statute, code of law, or otherwise was used to determine the administrative versus legislative nature of our ordinance? 2, what rule, statute, code of law, or otherwise was used to determine that an initiative petition's ordinance cannot be administrative in nature? 3, who in the Lamar City government was involved in the process to accept or reject our initiative petition and ordinance? And 4, what rule, statute, code of law, or otherwise determines which elected or appointed officials within a city government can accept or reject an initiative petition and ordinance? We thank you for your time, and we would like to receive an answer as soon as possible. It's been 3 weeks since our email was sent.
Okay. All right, we will follow up on that. We'll see what's happening with it, and somebody will get back with you.
Perfect. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else who would like to speak to the council on a subject that's not on the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we will move on with our council meeting. First item on the agenda is the city treasurer's report. Kristen?
Thank you. I don't have anything for tonight unless anybody has any questions for me.
Nope. I think we went through that in the work session
Okay, that's kind of what I thought.
with the audit. Yeah. All right, next item is the city clerk's report.
And I have no report tonight.
And then the city administrators
All
report.
right. And, you know, in the last month, we've gone to meeting different sections of the city and different, you know, the public works and fire department, and we're going to do administration. So if you want to come have coffee with Rob on Wednesday, come up here and I'll make you a cup of coffee and we'll sit down and talk about anything you want to talk about. And hopefully, I will just make sure that we get to know everybody and everybody's heard. I can't promise you an answer what the council will say, but I can give you what they're generally talking about and the projects they're going within the city and things that I might or might be able to bring up at the next council meeting. So come have a coffee with me on Wednesday up here at the administration building, 7 o'clock. In August, we go to Lamar Truck Plaza, the Hickory House, Pit Stop, and Dunkin' Donuts. So those are the rest of the coffee robs, and we have a lot of Wednesdays in August, so I'll get to see plenty of you many times. Pryor's Medical Center in-house MRI suite ribbon cutting ceremony is Wednesday, July 27th at 9 a.m. This is a big thing that we've been talking about, and I believe that it's a good thing for the city, and we're going to have ribbon cutting. The council budget work session in August, Monday, August 1st at 6 p.m. That's the fun part of the season. It's already up again. Council breakfast, Wednesday, August 3rd at the Hickory House at 7 a.m. The Friends of the Library monthly book sale, August 5th to the 6th at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And they also asked me to announce that the Trailblazer Theater Company Cultural Event is going to have something at the Cultural Event Center on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Let me see, what day was that? Guess it's this Friday and Saturday and Sunday. It's the Edgar Allan Poe Afterlife Radio Show. Tickets are $10 and be available at the library on the Trailblazer website or at the door. Come up there. The second annual LPI Corporate Cup. Oh, that's going to be fun. Fun in the heat. August 4th to the 6th, 2022 at North Gateway Park and Lamar softball fields. Come out and watch a lot of people struggle in the heat, and we'll make sure that it's a lot of fun. I heard this is one of the best events we've had in a long time. The Sand and Sage Fair, August 6th to the 13th. And let me see, projects, as you see today, most of our projects are dealing with cleanup. And over the last 2 days with all of the wind and rain, that's what we're going to be safe. And we want to make sure that we're, able to provide the services as best we can. So let me see, anything miscellaneous that you guys would like to have questions about that I can research for you?
I'll just, maybe if you could just give a little update on, we went to La Junta and to Pueblo to look at the wastewater.
Oh, we did, for our water, wastewater comprehensive plan, a couple of our, Pat and I and Councilman Temez went up and we saw 2 wastewater treatment plants, and some of them are new technology that we may or may not be able to use or may choose to use in our expansion that the city is going to be undergoing. The state mandated, once you get to a certain percentage, you have to start plans on increasing or updating your wastewater treatment plant. And we saw La Junta and Pueblo West. Yes, and there's a lot of good work going on in other cities, and there's some new technology that will help us to maximize our property. And I mean, I thought it was a really good trip. It taught me a lot. I've dealt with wastewater plants before, and I haven't seen the donut technology before. And I think that it's going to help us a lot and be able to, whenever we come to make our final decision. It was a good trip, and so that's some of the things we've been doing for the city.
Great.
Anything else? Come on, Jerry, you always have something.
I don't.
Okay.
All right.
The only thing I'd like to add is, Rob just went through the list of his coffee with Rob, and, as he came on board as the new city administrator, he put that out as one of his missions to get that started. And he's doing that, just like the council does with our council breakfast every month, as an opportunity for the community to come in and talk to us in a, very comfortable setting, whether it's for breakfast, whether it's for coffee, to come in and talk to us. It's an open forum. We can talk about anything that you like to discuss. So with the Coffee for Rob, it's just talking with Rob, and he can go out and investigate anything that you may have or bring up. At the council breakfast. I know we've often had people come in and we asked them what their concerns are. We'll discuss it. We'll go back and forth. So I would encourage you, if you do have concerns, questions, comments that you'd like to share with the council or different ideas on what we could do different, what we can do better, please stop by and at one of those events and visit. All right, any other questions from the council before we move on? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item number 1, which is the...
No.
Oh, reports from the council. You are right, sorry. Almost cut off Oscar. So now we have reports and correspondence from the council. Any council members? Oscar?
Yep. Went to golf board meeting. They had, June was a good month. The first 2 weeks in July were really good. Some golf shed doors have been fixed. The Wiley Golf Tournament, I guess, it's the football, will be September 4th. Want to thank the city for all the help. Had some washouts from the storm they had a month or so ago, and they fixed some of the crossings. And they've cementing number 1 green. They got, but when this was taken, they had 3 more loads to go in there to finish that. And the July 2nd had 42 players. The tournament had 42 players for that. And everything is going good, and that's all.
Okay. Any other council reports, liaison reports?
Met
Yeah.
with the LPI today.
Okay.
Some exciting news coming from that organization to betterment of our city. They voted and approved to put the shade on top of the stage down at the Enchanted Forest.
Oh, good. That's great.
Hey, that is a
So a new shade cover for,
Yeah,
that'll be great for performers who want to perform off the stage and
protect the deck that they put up there, and
Yeah.
maybe people can start using it because it won't be so sunbaking.
great. Wonderful. Anything else?
That's it for me. Joe?
No, I don't have anything. Jerry?
No.
Manuel? Okay, Anne Marie, late.
So just a quick report from Powers Economic Prosperity. You may recall that we were trying to hire an associate director. Unfortunately, that search ended in a failed search. So we have chosen to split out the position to look for a fairly entry level with a lot of energy and momentum, or a more seasoned professional that both would be on track to eventually replace our current economic development director, Cheryl Sanchez. And we're hoping that if we have kind of a 2-track, one would be the associate director and then the other one would be a project coordinator. So if you know of anybody who's interested in shaping our community by being part of our economic development momentum, we will be posting that position, both positions shortly.
Okay. Sounds great. Anything else? The only thing I'd like to add is over the last 12 months, we've been working on our new City Buy app, which is an app that the community can download and utilize. It'll have a lot of great features that I'm excited to offer for the community. We had partners join in with us to do this app and to be able to integrate this in for our city. Powers Economic Prosperity, Lamar Chamber of Commerce, Powers Medical Center, Lamar Community College, and Lamar Light and Power. They all pitched in and we were able to get this app developed. Right now, we are working on the beta testing. We do have that out to a few people that are doing beta testing. And we're looking at a launch on August the 1st. So we're really excited to get this out to you. For instance, one of the great things about this is that not only will you have events and news and all of the access to the city web pages and PEP and Powers Medical and all of their web pages, you'll also be able to search for different businesses in our community as a directory in there. Business owners will be able to claim their businesses and update it and modify it to use it as a marketing tool. But more importantly, the city will be able to do push out notices. So you'll get an alert when there's a power outage, where there is a power outage reported. We're looking at, the crews are working on it. We'll give you an update as soon as possible. So we're very excited to give this to this community. This is so much better than trying to invest in new brochures. I think this will be something that's a live document that we can modify and utilize. The only thing about it is that the more you use it, the better it'll be. So I encourage the business owners to get involved. We will be doing some training sessions for business owners on how they can maximize the marketing potential of the City Buy app. We'll be having some, hopefully, with some of our partners at the Chamber and possibly PEP. So we'll work on that. We should have some more news for the community in the next week, and we'll go from there. Did I miss anything, Martha, our communications director? Okay. All right, we're excited to do that. So now, is that okay, Oscar, if we move on?
Go ahead.
Right on. All right, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the fourth annual Downtown Custom Classic Car Expo. Tonight we have Trevor Lacoste here, who would like to speak to us about the car show.
Hey, Council. I guess it's been about a year since I've seen you.
Yeah.
I'm thankful to be here and to see Galen and Jeff in the audience doing the invocation this evening. I'm thankful we still have Christ at the center of our work in this community and with our council. I have a quick story about Jeff, seeing him here, that I wanted to share with all of you tonight. I ran into him a couple of weeks ago, and we're always cordial. We, as fellow creatives, we always have a nice story to share. So I said to Jeff, I'm in awe of all the painting and all the creativeness that you do. And he said, Trevor, the only way you can learn to paint is you have to learn the skill first. He says, you have no way of knowing if you'd ever be a good painter or not. What a neat story. And I've told that story to probably 12 or 15 people in the last 2 weeks. And that's what we're here for, is to learn lessons. So I don't have a lot to report tonight. One thing that's kind of sad this year is we have a new section in our guide. You guys all have copies of these. We have a section called In Memoriam, and that is a fellow man that has been coming to our car show all 4 years now. He passed away from COVID in January, and we found out just a few weeks ago. So we added that section, and it's sad, but on the same token, we can honor him and his family. Does council have any questions for us? I'm by myself tonight. Chris is on vacation. He's in Omaha. Ben has a broken leg in a couple of places, so he's still healing. And the rest of the committee is all out doing different things tonight. I did want to report, I've had a preliminary discussion with Kirk about doing some stuff in the Enchanted Forest next year with the show. We didn't get it put together in time for this year, but we're going to try to have some, what they call it, Kirk? That when you spin the tires, I don't do that.
Burnouts.
I just tend to speed a little, but.
Yeah, I know we had talked about it, but I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, so we talked about it. We've had some preliminary discussions, but on the same token, it was really quick to put it together for this year, so we'll wait, and we'll continue to work with council about that for next year. We have a plan. It's a safe one. It's just one small area over there, and Kirk and I did discuss it, and he said he would bring it to council as we start moving forward with that.
All on the same side of the street?
It's going to be, we proposed that little area right up next to the railway fence there, in between the Enchanted Forest and the overflow parking lot. That's where we're recommending. That way we can barricade it and keep people safe. That's a big thing. It's not a big thing for me, but we're not here for me. We're here for the community. The community wants to do burnouts, and that's cool. So if we can find a way to safely do it, then I'm all for it.
We can continue that discussion for sure. So.
Okay. You noticed in your guides, if anyone wants any of these, I brought a stack of them. They're here tonight. Brent's in the audience as well. He's going to be one of our fellow comedians. We're always glad to have these guys back. If you haven't heard the comedy show, I don't know who I should talk to, if it's Linda or who, but you guys should be buying some tickets. I'm telling you, you're missing out if you're not going down to that comedy show. We get very few opportunities to have front range comedians come down to our area. And I really recommend taking your spouse or significant other and going out and hearing them for an evening. You'll have a great time.
Can I touch on that real quick?
Sure.
Over the this will be the third year that we've been able to put a comedy show on. Every year we've progressed with not better community, because I love all the guys that are in my network, but higher level talent. Alan Goodwin, who's going to be the headliner this year, has been on Comedy Central. He's been on several comedy tournaments, if you will. I don't know the proper word for that. And over the coming years, I look to just bring in more and more high-level talent to keep this thing going with Trevor. It's been a great thing done.
It is, thank you. You also see our ambassadors this year. They are local. That is Paul and Darlene Lopez. We're really proud to have them. They've been great supporters of all the car shows in the areas for decades, and they've been a huge supporter for us. So it just made sense to talk to them last year, and we did, and we got that put together. Some of the stuff came together at the last minute. We've really been trying to hit schedules, and we've all been really busy, so I'm glad the guides are done. We're right on track. Anybody else have questions? If the city has some swag they'd like to put in our bags, we'd appreciate it. And what I mean by that is anything that we can do to promote the city, whether that's a directory or a card describing the app or something like that. We'll need 150 of them, and we would just need them around the first week of August or so by the end of the week.
Yeah,
So
we should have some flyers that you can put in there,
Perfect.
so we can do that.
Yep. Sounds
Right,
right.
Martha?
Yep, writing it down now.
Okay, great.
Are these brochures, this packet available to the public in
Yeah.
any way? Because there's a lot of information.
There is, yep, so these will be throughout the show, the whole weekend of the show. They're also available now, you can pick some up out at Arc Valley Diesel, and we'll have some other places set up with some too.
So just come out to Arc Valley Diesel.
And if you guys have suggestions
Thick brochure.
suggestions of where you'd like me to drop them, please feel free to share it with me. I'll take them wherever they need them. We've got cases of these, so.
Great.
All right, thank you guys.
Great, thank you.
Thanks, Tyler.
Let's see, okay. Next item on the agenda is an appointment to the Lamar Housing Authority Board. This was initiated by our city administrator.
Yes, sir. This is a reappointment. The board voted and recommended that reappoint Mrs. Shannon Venturi. 5 years. She, basically, her term had ended, and she said she would do it again, and they recommended you guys accept it, so.
Okay,
I motion that we do accept Shannon for the Lamar Housing.
Second.
all right, we have a motion and a second. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay. Item number 3 is Aquaholics Rentals. This is LLC. This is for the lease agreement. Rob, would you like to speak on this?
I'm gonna let, Rick.
No, I didn't even see it.
Rick, please speak, Rick.
Yeah, this was initiated by Rick Akers. So Rick?
Good evening, council. This is just the annual contract with Aquaholics. This is the second year contract form. The only thing that we changed was just the dates. Lance was gracious enough to send that to me, and I just changed the dates and price, everything else. The agreement's the same. So just asking for permission for the mayor to sign, council to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to sign. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Thank you, Rick. Next item is amendment to the EPA Brownsfield Assessment Grant Agreement with Ayers Associates. This is initiated by Rob Evans. It looks like we have Craig Brooks here for questions if we need it.
Yeah. We hire heirs to handle, as you know, we were awarded the Brownsfield grant, and we're going to be asking these people to help us administer afterwards as well. So this is the Second Amendment, correctly? The Second Amendment we've made to the original agreement back from 2018, and we recommend that you guys approve.
Okay.
I think Lance has a suggestion.
So I reviewed the 2018 agreement. The only thing that had me a little concerned is that it, and again, it might not have played out this way the first couple times they used it, but it says that additional services are not included, and one of those additional services was for asbestos. So I'd just say that the $500,000, that when we do the motion to approve that, any additional services are also included in that $500,000.
So amend the agreement?
Yeah, just to include that.
So
Piece of it.
we'll need to accept and approve the mayor to sign with the
Change.
the change for
Yep, that the additional
additional
services
services.
are also included in that.
Okay. Council?
So moved.
Second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to accept and allow the mayor to sign pending the modifications as stated by the attorney. Any final questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
Okay, moving right along. Agenda number 5 is the further tiny home regulation discussions. We actually received, the council had received an email. Did you want to talk on this beforehand, or the council was going to?
Whatever the council's pleasure is, so.
Okay, well, all the council members received a letter or an email this past week discussing an individual who had experience with tiny homes, wanted to give some input before we finalized everything. He couldn't be here tonight. I thought it might be good for us to table this until the next meeting. There's obviously no decisions to be made tonight, but we can move the discussion to the next meeting for a work session, and we can invite him to attend the work session to give us input.
Absolutely. Yeah, he sent me an email and I've communicated with him. We've missed each other.
Okay.
But, yes.
Does that sound fair? Did you want to add anything before we do, so the council can start
Just
looking at it?
wanted to make sure that council knew that I went back to the drawing board with my boards. We had a couple of questions that council posed last time. One was on the minimum size. We all felt like the 400 square feet minimum should remain in place, but someone could definitely build it a little bigger if they so chose. If we got too much bigger, it kind of defeated the purpose of a tiny home based on the regulations that we currently are out there.
20 by 20 room.
You can make it to 20 by 30 if you want.
Right.
Right.
But if they say the minimum is, I can build one at 20 by 20 room.
Yeah.
And then put a stove and a refrigerator and a wall. I mean, everything you add into that.
Absolutely, and this is some guidelines and a starting
Is that
point.
20 by 20 exterior, 20 by 20 interior?
Well, we didn't really get into that, so that's a great question.
It's-
So you gain an extra 7 inches, 14
Yeah,
inches.
well, at that size, every little bit.
Right,
is
right,
gonna make a
absolutely,
difference.
absolutely. So that was kind of where we were at with that. The other question was in the mobile home designated zoned area. I did reach out to a couple mobile home owners of parks that are currently here. And one of the questions was, what are the sizes? The average size is 43 feet wide by 86 feet and 6 inches long. So it would fit in there and still maintain our setback requirements of the zoning and everything. So that would be something that would fit for tiny homes and potentially clean up some of those other areas that are just sitting vacant in those mobile home. And the utilities are there. They'd have to be upgraded and some things like that, but the basic things are there. So that's.
Can I bring up a question on that?
Yes.
So I noticed that the board has requested to go to foundations instead of slabs. So if a park owner owns a park and they own all the lots, now we're gonna start building foundations in them.
One of the things I've talked to them about is, this is a tiny home that you're gonna own. So they are thinking of selling those little individual plots to the actual owner, or long-term lease, 10, 15-year type of deal.
So then there'd be some type of a HOA where they would still maintain.
Correct.
See where I'm going here?
Correct. So then it would belong directly to the person with the tiny home and not the mobile home people anymore.
Okay. So the people who own the parks are gonna be selling off their lots then?
Correct.
Okay.
Is there what was the determining factor and what's the cost difference between a foundation and a slab?
Well, I believe we gave both options. We gave the foundation, and then we also suggested that it could be a slab on grade.
Okay.
As well. So they are both here. Originally, we talked about a foundation only, but we came back with the slab with the 36-inch walls.
Okay.
So yes, so both are available.
Okay.
Yeah. I think having a work session for it is gonna be a great idea. There's still a lot of things.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. Okay.
Well, and I think the gentleman that emailed us, it would be a good resource. He's a manufacturer of tiny homes and has experienced that throughout different communities, so at least he can give us some good insight and make us available. So
Absolutely.
that'll be good.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
You want to have
The
a,
other thought I have along that lines is if there's any other, maybe that gentleman has some research on other communities that have both successes and failures of tiny homes in their communities.
He does, he listed a couple in his email.
Successes and failures, or just?
Well, I don't know about
I think it's
failures.
good successes, but we can ask. I was gonna reach out to another gentleman that I know who manufactures them, out of Pueblo. So I'll reach out and see if we can get see if he'll attend as well, or at least give us some input, but it might be good to reach out to a few.
And these will not be mobile. It will be permanent fixtures.
Is that what they are?
Yes.
For the tiny homes?
Yeah, otherwise it's an RV,
Okay.
basically.
So if it's on wheels, that
Doesn't
these
matter.
don't apply because it's an RV, right?
Correct.
That is correct, okay.
There is one that they do manufacture that is on wheels, that the frame does not stay underneath it. So it's like the houses they used to build years ago, and they'd bring it in, pull it off of all the framework and set it down on the foundation.
Yeah.
That is sitting on a slab or a foundation.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. All right, moving on, we have item number 6, the intent to participate in a coordinated election. This is initiated by Linda Williams, our city clerk. Linda, would you like to speak on this?
So, we haven't had anything, returned as of yet, but I have a deadline with Prowers County to let them know whether or not we're going to participate in the election. So I need to, have permission to at least submit the intent to participate, to let them know.
Okay. Well, I think since we know there's some petitions out, is that correct?
There is one petition out, yes.
Okay, so the chances are maybe, or possibly that they could be in there, so we probably need to. Okay. Council, what do you think?
Make a motion to notify the county we're gonna participate in the election.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any final questions from the council? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right. Next item on the agenda is miscellaneous items. Are there any miscellaneous items we need to talk about?
I have one. Rick, did you say about the Starburst Award or something that is going to happen on August 5th?
August 5th during the Corporate Cup out at North Gateway Park. We were fortunate enough to get another Starburst Award. This is from the Colorado Lottery. They liked what we did out at North Gateway Park. This is like the, I don't know, third or fourth, fifth one we got. We received the last one, I think, was at the skate park, if I'm not mistaken. And so they're gonna come down and make a presentation to the city. They'll have a booth down there. There should be a lot of people being the Corporate Cup is there, and they let them know what they wanted. They'll have a booth. They'll be handing out lottery tickets and some swag from them and presenting us with an award. And that'll be August 5th at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Are we doing, we're not doing anything with this?
No,
Okay.
we did that last meeting.
Okay.
Okay, any other miscellaneous items?
I want to thank the city employees. A branch fell, knocked out the wiring to my house.
Ooh.
I had a light on the back porch, the lights in the refrigerator, the bathroom, and one bedroom. Everything else was out. I went nuts, fuses and circuit breakers. And they come out, Light Power come out and repaired it. And I asked him about it. He said, well, something broke. Part of the line broke, but not the whole thing. He said, when it happens, you're getting different voltages through your house. and he doesn't know why, but different things will work. The best thing to do is hit your main breaker and turn it off, because you could burn up your refrigerator motors or whatever motors, because they don't know why it does that. And I just want to thank them for that information and coming out and fixing it. And also the city crew for picking up the pile of branches I had stacked along the sidewalk.
And that's a good reminder before we close, is that, as I said in the opening, if you do have branches in your yard or things that you need to get hold of, as far as branches and limbs from this windstorm that are too big for you to haul away, please drag them to your driveway curb, and the city will go by and try to pick those up for you. All right, anything else? Were there any questions we needed to answer on Facebook, or any comments? Nothing? Okay. All right, seeing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Unanimous in favor of?
All right, that's the end of our meeting. Thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
I'd like to tell all the council that my mom was really impressed with the city, and she really liked coming up to visit, and she had fun at the farmer's market and all that kind of stuff. So I told her I'd let everybody know. Great.
Great.